Hey everybody! Today, Rahdo runs down a prototype of Battle of the Bards, which is a deck-building dice rolling game where 2 to 4 players control troops of traveling troubadours who are trying to put on the best performances possible. And the way the game works is, at the beginning of every round, each player is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in their hand that they have drawn from their deck. And let's see. So right now, I've got my lead illusionist. I am this guy. This is me, an illusionist, which is why I started with 1 illusion performance token and 2 illusion dice. I also got my wanted poster and 1 of my 2 basic singers and 1 of my 2 basic musicians. So the 4 of us are, or I should say 3 of these 4 cards are going to get on stage and try to perform for all the audience out here. Let's see here. Now, Jen, she also draws 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what she got. All right, she also got 1 of her 2 wanted posters and her roadie and both of her basic illusionists. Okay, now everybody draws and then everybody simultaneously decides which 3 of these 4 cards they would like to put into play. Let's see, and I think for me, I'm going to hold off my wanted poster. I think Jen's going to do the same. So I've got a basic musician, a lead illusionist, and a basic singer. Jen is going to hold her wanted poster off to the side as well and bring out her roadie, her basic illusionist, and her other basic illusionist. Now, after you put them out, you get dice for each of these performers. So I get a yellow, a blue, and a red die to add to the dice I already had in my pool, and I'm going to roll these bones. And this represents putting on a show. All right, I'll use them in a second. Jen, meanwhile, she grabbed 2 more blue dice, and the roadie, so you can see there's no color there, means she could grab any color die she wants. I think she will go on ahead and grab another purple. Specifically because looking up here, Jen notices this section of the audience really wants to see a lot of purple performances. You can see you need a purple for that, you need a purple for that. A lot of purple performance might come in handy for her. So she rolls hers. Alrighty, and let's see what she's got. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now, after that's done, we start using these dice to do several different actions. And we do it in turn order. I am the first player, so on my turn, I can do 2 actions with these dice. And also, the card I didn't play that's still in my hand might come in handy as well. There are several different uses for my 4th card. You can kind of consider them backstage, ready to help out. So, what do I want to do? Well, first of all, the main thing I want to do is capture these audience cards because every one of them is where you get points. 6 points, 7 points, 7, 5 points. But I need to put on the performances that they want to see. I already have 1 blue, so if I could get another blue performance and a purple performance, I could capture this, which is worth 7 points and gives me a special power for the rest of the game. So, maybe I want to do that. Well, how do I get more of these performance tokens? I need a straight of dice. 1, 2, 3, or a 3, 4, 5, or a 4, 5, 6. 3 dice in a straight. Like, say, look at this. A 4, 5, 6. I can spend these to give myself another to put on a performance. And that's what I'm going to do for my first of 2 actions that I can do on my turn. And now, if, say, say this it had been like this, because the majority of the dice in my performance were blue, that meant I put on a blue illusionist performance and I'd get a blue. But that's not what came out. Instead, I had an equal number of all 3 dice. That means I can choose this is going to be whatever performance I want. So I could get a blue, a red, or a yellow performance chip. Let's see. So what do I want? Well, I don't want a red because none of these need red, and I could use a red for this one, but this 4th audience is a little bit tougher to get. So I don't think I want a red. In fact, maybe I want a yellow, because a yellow and 2 wilds will get me this performance very quickly, and this game is definitely a race. But by the same token, yeah, this one's worth more points, 7 versus 5. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead and say this was a blue performance and get my second blue illusion. Now, I spent these dice. It was a great performance. They go back to the supply. All right, I have 1 more action, and I've still got a couple of dice. For my second action, with this 1 or this 6, I think I will activate I'll activate myself, my lead illusionist. Oh, no, I won't. To do this, I need exactly a 4. I did not roll a 4. So I could activate this lead musician, or this basic musician, with something equal to or less than a 4, or my bass singer with something else. So I've got this one, which means I could activate my musician so they can do a little bit more wailing on this tuba thing, or my basic singer, this tree thing, and give myself a red die or a yellow die. And let's see, I am still kind of eyeballing that. I think I'll go on ahead and activate the singer and get myself, or I'm sorry, no, activate the musician and get myself a yellow die. Now, this die immediately gets rolled and immediately gets added to the dice that are in my performance, so I'll be able to use it. So I've got a 3. All right, and now, this is locked. I cannot activate him again, but I've got more dice. But my turn is over. I've done 2 actions. I grabbed a performance and I activated one of my guys. Now it is Jen's turn. Let's see what she's got. She does not have a straight, so she cannot get any more performance tokens. She's got a 1, a 2, a 2, a 4, and a 5. Now, she could, if she wanted to, discard the last card in her hand. The card that you didn't play, one of the things you can do with it is discard it right now, and that can be used to either re-roll as many dice as you want or change the value of one die up or down. So Jen could discard this to turn this 4 into a 3, and then she would have a straight, and she could get a performance. In this case, it would be a purple performance, which is great because that's what she wants. But that means she's discarding this card, and this card has a different use, which is what Jen's going to use it. If the card that is still in your hand is one of your wanted posters, which it is, it says what it can do right here. If it's from your hand, discard this and hire an advanced bard. So Jen she's not going to discard this to modify her dice. Instead, she's going to discard it to use its power. Jen can now hire any of these veterans, singers, musicians, or this dancer. And to hire any of these 3, the ones that are not on top of the deck, you have to give up a pair. And Jen has 2 2s. The color doesn't matter. The color matters when you're putting on a performance, as you saw in my case. But for hiring other performers, it doesn't. So Jen's just going to discard these 2, which means she can get the dancer, the musician, or the singer. Let's see here. Well, the singer is worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. But that means the singer's power is not quite as good as the dancer or the musician. They're a little bit more powerful. The musician, when activated, gives you a yellow die, and a tuning token. And by the way, I said this is a prototype. I don't know if the real game is going to come with actual cool guitar picks as the tuning tokens, but this prototype is pretty cool. So I could get that one with 3 powers on it. But only 1 victory point, or the singer with less power over 2, or the veteran dancer, who's also very powerful because the veteran dancer lets Jen steal my dice. I think that's what Jen's going to do. Jen's going to hire the veteran dancer, and now when you hire a veteran, it immediately goes to the discard pile. So that stealing opportunity Jen has will come up later. Now, as soon as that happens, the other ones slide on over, and the one that was on top of the deck, which is called the newest performer in town, moves down here, revealing a newest performer. Now, these 3 are relatively easy to get. You only need a pair. If you want to recruit this guy, you need 3 of a kind. And, all right, so that was Jen's first of 2 actions. She recruited. And now for her second action, well, let's see here. Again, she doesn't have a straight, so she can't get any performance tokens. She'll activate. She will, with a 2 or greater, Jen can activate her roadie. She'll go on ahead and take this 5 and activate the roadie, which will give her one of these tuning tokens. This can be used later on to either let her re-roll all the dice she wants to, or change the value of one die up or down. Although 1s can't become 6s, 6s can't become 1. So those are Jen's 2 turns. Back to me. I've still got 2 dice. Now, the problem is they are not a pair, which means I cannot use my wanted poster to be able to hire somebody. Right, but I might still have a chance. I'm going to do 2 actions. One of my actions is going to be to take... Oh no! Oh no! I have a 3 and a... No, it's fine. I'll take this 3 and I'll activate my singer. It has to be a 4 or less. That gives me another die. I'm making my pool bigger. So I'm gonna sing a little bit, and I'm hoping to roll a 6, because then I'll have a pair and I can use this the same way Jen did to be able to recruit. So here we go. Give me a 6. Nope, that is not a 6. All right, so that was my first action. Not very good. And now for my second action. Well, I have one more performer, myself, my lead. I could do this and give myself another die and draw a card and look at it. And if I want to, fire that card, because that's a method of deck thinning in the game, which is pretty cool. See, but unfortunately, here's the problem. I don't have a 4. And also, 1 6, I don't have a pair. I'm done. There's nothing more I could do. I could discard this card from my hand to change this 6 into a 5 or this 1 into a 2. But that's still not going to do anything because it's not going to give me a 4 for another action. So I am sadly going to pass, which means I am out for the round. Even if it comes back around and I could do some more, there's nothing more I can do. So I am out. Meanwhile, back over here for Jen. Let's see, what is she going to do? She doesn't have a... Right, well, she can't hire anybody because she's already discarded her wanted poster. She will go on ahead and use this 4 to activate the basic illusionist, which gets her... Now, she's hoping she needs to roll a 4, 5, or 6 so that she can activate her other illusionist. Boom! Boom, that's a 5. That was her first action. Her second action is she will activate the illusionist, who will put on another performance. Boom. And it is a 3. Okay, those are Jen's 2 turns. She activated her 2 performers. Back to me. I'm already passed. I'm out. Back to Jen. There's nothing more she can do. All her performers have performed. There's nothing left in her hand, so she can't activate that. We are done. The round is over. And now, at the end of the round, if you still have the card in your hand, you can either discard it or you can trash it, remove it from the game, which I don't want to do. My wanted poster, I did not get to use my wanted poster this turn. That's really painful. So I'm just going to discard it. I missed an opportunity to hire. Jen already discarded hers, so that was that. And here's the interesting thing. All the dice I used for performances, I hold on to them. So in the first round, we each had, we started with 2. Now we're going to start with even more. All of these performers all get discarded. They're all tired and exhausted. And at the end of the turn, we draw 4 more cards. The first player marker changes hands, and we continue. So next turn, I got to decide which of these do I want to put into play. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Jen has to decide which of these she wants to put into play. Her lead dancer, which gives her a wild, but it's much harder. You have to roll exactly a 4, as opposed to the basic dancers, which is a 3 or greater. So they're more likely to be fired off. Me using my lead dancer really limited me in that first round because I didn't have enough dice to ensure I was going to get a 4, nor could I create one. Alrighty, so everybody chooses, and then we go through the same process again. Rolling all our dice. So if Jen went like this, she'd give herself 2 more purples and a red, which she'd roll with all of her other stuff. And as you can see, very, very quickly in this game, you get to the point where you are rolling huge pools of dice. Once again, I'll keep my wanted off to the side because I still want to hire somebody. And so I've got my roadie, and so a purple, and I get to choose whatever color my roadie gives me. I'll go on ahead and get a purple, since I don't have very much purple. And then I roll all of my dice. And the second round is on, starting with Jen. And once again, I've got this left aside. Jen, she kept this in her hand, which means she could use this to change a die or re-roll as many dice, or she can wait till the end of her turn and fire this person so that she can thin her deck to get to her better cards that much faster. And the game continues like this. Now, the stuff you haven't seen me do in a turn is, once you have enough performance tokens, you can trade them in as an action to score a performance, and therefore give you that power. And then new performances come out. And by the way, the performance on top of the deck, you can get this one as well, but you have to trade in the right performance icons and discard the card in your hand, which means you can't use it to modify dice or anything else. So, once one player has 4 performances, that triggers the end of the game. That'll be the final round, and then everybody performs an encore. As part of setup, everybody got an encore, which meant throughout the course of the game, I want to be hiring red and blue veteran performers because potentially 2 of my reds and 2 of my blue performers will be able to do a final performance. I roll all the dice, I modify the dice using any tuning tokens I've got still, and whoever has the highest score from that big encore roll-off gets 4 bonus points, although potentially more depending on the powers they've got. And then whoever has the most points based on the veterans they've recruited, the performances they've done, plus the best encore wins the game. And that is the quick rundown of Battle of the Bards, which is a very sharp game. It's a fun little dice builder, and probably the most satisfying thing about this game is, like I said, you very quickly amass huge amounts of dice to use on your turn. But that means you can have really big epic rounds where you put in performances and trade them in to win over audiences and recruit people and do all kinds of stuff and modify dice. And you have this boom bust cycle. You have a ton of dice, you use them all up. Oh no, now I don't have very many dice. And other players could build up even more dice to have bigger turns later on. There's a lot of ebb and flow, and there are a lot of interesting powers off of all of these performers. Always getting more dice, stealing dice, getting tuning tokens, being able to draw additional performers so you get access to more powers with the dice you've already got. It's very, very cool, very fun, and very, very fast. I cannot stress that enough. For Jen and me, this game almost is over too fast. I mean, we've actually finished the game based on what audience cards came out before we made it through our deck a second time. It's over so quick. And also, there's one other thing. Like I said, some of the cards will let players steal dice from each other, but some of the veterans you have, if you activate them, not only can you do their powers, but you can give yourself special powers, which could potentially protect you or do other things. And also, the game is going to come with kind of a softer variant where the theft isn't quite so stinging. I should say, all the rules you saw today are subject to change because this is a prototype. They're still tweaking some stuff. But that, folks, is the rundown on Battle of the Bards. I want to say thanks for watching. Have a very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.